guys, I'm the Night Siren, and I'm back from my vacation and super happy to be back, by the way. I've so missed doing videos, and this special little video is for my 100 subscribers, which I've since surpassed. I almost have 130 now. But this is my Q&A that was suggested to me by Brianna and before I get started here, I want to first show you guys my even newer channel art. I know I posted a video a while back that was celebrating my new channel art, but the same artist did another piece of art for me. I completely love this new piece of art, which will be on the screen. And I have integrated it and the old piece into my videos, so you saw my introduction. It is going to be this new piece, and my profile picture is the new piece, but the old art will still be my outro and is also in my title now. So I love both, and I'm just going to milk my love for both of them. I have to thank Mpipo again for doing these for me. Her channel will be in the description. But anyway, let's get to the Q&A. My first question, I had 3 people ask me questions, but two of the 3 asked me multiples, so I have plenty of questions to answer. So I want to thank all of you who asked me questions for my Q&A. I'm super excited to be doing this. Okay, so my first question is from Brianna and she asks, "What is your name?" Well, my first name is actually Ashley. I know it's super unique, and you all should be jealous of my amazingly unique name. I'm just kidding. My name's pretty run-of-the-mill. It's even spelled the normal, run-of-the-mill way. I'm all I'm giving you. I'm not going to give you my full name because privacy reasons, but I'm more than happy to tell you my first name. And the second question is also from Brianna and she asked why I call my channel Midnight Siren. To be honest with you, I don't honestly know. It just came out of nowhere, really. I was thinking up channels for names, and it was just something that came to my mind. It wasn't anything I'd ever used for anything before. This was the first time I ever used the Midnight Siren name. And before that, I used Rocker Girl a lot. And since then, I've begun to integrate Midnight Siren into more of my things. That's my Steam name now, and pretty much anything new I use a username with now, it's Midnight Siren. All my old stuff's probably still my old name, but this name was just something I thought sounded amazing, so that's what I went with, and I don't honestly know where I came up with it. It was just something that popped into my head that I thought was a great name for a channel. Okay, this next question is by Handmade Video, and they ask, what made me want to become a narrator? Well, to be honest, I really wanted to get into YouTube for a long time, and I was really into creepypasta narrations. I watched them all the time. They were just something that filled up a lot of my time, and I remember one day listening to Mr. Creepypasta read, it's so bad that I can't remember the name of the story now. Let me go find it. Hold on. Okay, I found it. I was listening to Mr. Creepypasta read a story called Dear Abby, and I don't know what exactly it was about that story, but it really kind of got me interested in narrating myself. And of course, I didn't start right away. It just piqued my interest in it. And I probably went a year before I actually started my channel. And why I actually did it was I had written 2 creepypastas, and after I made my channel, I posted them. I posted 2 narrations of those creepypastas, but then I didn't really bother after that. But my senior year of high school, I started this channel my senior year of high school, towards the end of it. I had to do a computer project, because I was in a computer class, as you can probably tell, and we got to make up our own final project, and of course I thought it was an amazing way to milk my want for narrating. So for that class, I narrated Mr. Widemouth, The Rake, and Candle Cove. And Mr. Widemouth and The Rake are the third and fourth videos that are uploaded on my channel if you go look. But you can probably also tell that Pirate Cove has never actually been uploaded, and that's because I would prefer to do that with more people as a collaboration, so that will happen eventually, but not now. But I uploaded those two that I did for my class, and it was really just an excuse to kind of get my channel going. Still, I didn't necessarily work on it much until the following summer, when I was bored and I started doing game theories. And since then, I just kind of got the ball rolling, and here I am doing videos almost every day for you guys, and I love it so much. And I probably yammered on too long for that. You probably didn't literally care that much. But next question. This next question is also from Handmade Video, and they ask, do you have a favorite creepypasta? This is actually a difficult question, and as you can tell by my answer, I'm already gonna ramble on this for an hour, so get ready. I kind of split the creepypastas up into separate little sections, so I'm gonna give you 3 different answers for that question. My favorite creepypasta monster has to be Slenderman. I don't know what it is about Slenderman. He's so overused, but I still really, really love his concept and his startup story, and Slenderman is just awesome. My favorite creepypasta series is definitely SCP, the SCP Foundation. They just have a collection of amazing quality, way different kind of creepypastas that you're not going to find anywhere else. But for the true answer, my favorite creepypasta, without me thinking too hard about it, I would say it probably would be Smile Dog. I know it sounds so cliche, but I honestly really love Smile Dog. It's one of the only creepypastas that have actually kind of made me a little nervous and kind of scared me. For a while after I heard the story, when I was younger obviously, I was actually a little afraid to look at the picture because I was afraid I was going to get cursed or whatever. But, you know, I've grown out of that since then, and when I read it for my channel, it was honestly one of the best narrations I've done and one of my favorite narrations to do. I love the story, I love the concept, it's scary, it's got a creepy picture to go with it, and it's just a great story altogether. And as a follow-up to that question, Brianna N asked me, what is my favorite urban legend? My favorite urban legend, and I'm not going to be going like urban legend, crypto kind of things like Bigfoot. I'm going to do core urban legends, not urban legend creatures. That would have to be Bloody Mary. And I know that's also a really cliche answer, but when I was younger, around 12 and 13, me and my friend were super obsessed with Bloody Mary, and I guess that obsession kind of carried over into my, young adult years. I still really love the story behind it. I love the idea of it, and I even tried it when I was younger, and some creepy things seemed to happen. Of course, it was just overreactive imaginations and coincidental incidents, but it was always super cool to me, just the idea of it, and it was super scary anytime I walked into the bathroom to chant that name 3 times with my best friend, because we did that a lot. We did tons of research on her, and I just really find that urban legend particularly interesting. And as a also closely related question, Spooky Stories for You asked me if I believed in the Jersey Devil. I absolutely love urban legends. They're traditional creepypastas to me. And to be honest, I always have the feeling that any of the urban legend creatures can in fact be real. I think it's absolutely possible that the Jersey Devil and anything in its relation, aka Mothman and Bigfoot and all those kind of things, can be real. I mean, why would people just report having sightings of these particular creatures? I mean, obviously, yes, they can be mistaken for certain other things, but I just kind of find it all too coincidental for things like that to happen, and I of course, believe in things that are, I believe in the unknown and spiritual things, ghosts and creatures, and I think there's more than just these boring old things that we can explain away. I think there's these mythical monsters that can exist, and I certainly do think that the Jersey Devil is absolutely possible, and I would not deny any reports that I heard of it. I think it's absolutely real, or it can be absolutely real. For the next question, Handmade Video asked me if there are any particular YouTube channels that I'm a big fan of, and the answer is yes. Besides of course the narrator channels and like Creeps McPasta and Mr. Creepypasta, I am actually an absolute fan of Let's Players. I know, I'm so original, but I really, really enjoy watching Let's Players, and I've even kind of thought about doing a Let's Player side channel type thing. But out of those, I guess you can say I like Markiplier, and I like a smaller channel that isn't quite as big as Markiplier, but is also absolutely like bigger than me, is Matt Shea. And recently I've been getting into Jacksepticeye, and I still kind of like PewDiePie, but that's basically what I have to admit that I watch a lot of is Let's Players. I find them funny and just interesting in general, and I think it would be fun to just do a Let's Play style channel. And the next question, also by Handmade Video, asked me about my fiction story that I've been doing readings on that I also write, called Teeth and Love. And they ask, what inspired me to write it? Well, to be honest, I am very often inspired by TV shows or video games or something of the sort, and of course this story is really no exception. And I don't really want to spoil much for the story, but I was actually watching a particular TV show of the supernatural category that on Netflix, and I had just started watching it when I went to a funeral with my mom and her boyfriend. It was her boyfriend's uncle's funeral, so it wasn't no one I was really connected to or completely saddened by. And we were having lunch before the funeral, and I was kind of sitting there and I was just thinking about how interesting it would be to start a story off in a funeral aspect, and that's kind of how I got the beginning of it. That was pretty much the day where I made up the protagonist, her deceased sister, and the male romantic interest, which was obviously based from the show that I was interested in, that I'm still interested in. And that's just kind of how I thought of it. I kind of placed the character in this reality of having one of the most crushing experiences that she can have, of this low moment in her life, and I kind of made I made it where this person comes along and just kind of brings her out of it, and that was really what I was shooting for with this story. And I've only, I think, posted 3 chapters, I don't remember, to be honest. I've only posted 3 or 4 chapters, and I have 2 more that I have yet to record and post, and I will probably do the next one next week, but it's really long, so I've kind of been dreading having to read for that long. But hopefully I'll get it done next week and stop being lazy. So basically that's where I got it from. And I don't really want to say the name of this show because I don't want to give too much away within the mystery of the supernatural creatures that are going to be in it. But I'm pretty sure you guys probably figured out what's going on already if you watched that series. But anyway, I actually remember, I don't have any questions that I'm looking at right now, but I actually remember someone asking me if I'd ever had any paranormal experiences, but I don't remember where I'd seen that question, so I don't remember who asked it of me. Hold on a second. So I don't remember exactly who asked me this question. I kind of feel like it might have been Brianna, but don't swear me to that. If you're the person that asked me this question, just put it in the comments below. Because I'm sorry, I don't remember where I saw it. But somebody asked me if I'd ever had a paranormal experience. And I thought this was a great question for me to answer. Holy crap, this video has went on for 20 minutes. I thought this was a great question for me to ask, and I'm really excited to give my answer because, yes, I have. I've had some paranormal experiences, several of them, and I've kind of had 2 of separate origins, I guess, but I'll start with one of these, and then I'll tell you the next one. When I was 7 or 8, I think I was 7, my mom and my dad are divorced. My dad moved into this house. It's a tiny little house in an urban area, and he moved in, and I live with my mom, but I spent weekends, with him. So when I spent the weekends there always just seemed to be this weird aura about the house. Like, you could just kind of feel things, and occasionally you would kind of see things moving around or hear these weird noises. And most specifically, at around 8 o'clock every night, you could hear someone walking down the hallway. And my dad ended up putting down some hardwood floor in the hall, and it kind of amplified it. So at 8 o'clock every night, you would hear this noise, just these footsteps walking down the hall. And I didn't get to experience this firsthand, unfortunately, but my dad told me the story that when I was maybe 9 or 10, I don't remember exactly. I wasn't at the house at the time, but he was lying in bed, and he hears these steps coming down the hall, and he hears something enter the room. And then he hears a voice of a child say, "Is he alive?" Or I think it was alive. I don't remember exactly. And then another child answered, "I think so." And then I'm sorry, I haven't heard this story in a long time, so it's coming from my memory. And then they ran out of the room, and after that, there was no paranormal activity in the house, ever. There was an occasional odd noise that you might hear, or odd feeling you might get. Sometimes I still feel things brush me, but it's nothing I ever make too much account about. I mean, I have cats, and my cats never act weird, or they sometimes stare at things, but they never act afraid or angry. And I kind of take that as if there is something in the house still, because he still has it, and I actually live with him now, so I live here. I'm here all the time. If there's anything here that's a spirit, I don't think it's bad, so I'm not really worried about it. But it was a really cool experience, and I've always been a ghost fanatic. I've always been super into the paranormal, so this was just, of course, so interesting to me as a kid when I got to actually experience paranormal activity. Now, my other paranormal story actually doesn't focus on ghosts, but it focuses on aliens or UFOs. And no, I never been abducted, and I hope I never get abducted. And I'm still I'm not necessarily skeptical on the whole extraterrestrial topic, but I'm not so hardcore into it as I am ghosts and apparitions and such. But I believe that obviously somewhere there's gonna be life somewhere else, so I'm not too down on saying there aren't aliens, but this experience was really weird for me, and this actually happened a few months ago. I was visiting my mom. We were doing something together, and she and I were driving, or no, it wasn't she and I, it was just me. It was sundown. The sun was starting to go down and was almost down, and I was driving from my mom's house to my dad's house, which is a 30-minute drive from the country into the city. My dad lives in the city, my mom lives out in the country. So I was driving from my mom's to my dad's, and I just got into the urban area of the city, and I was getting off the service road onto this ramp that does this little like U-turn onto a highway. And I was going around the little U-turn. I was going up the U-turn, up the ramp, and then I was about to turn around when in the distance I saw this big bright light literally just sitting there. It wasn't moving, it wasn't doing anything, and there was light poles around, and they're kind of yellow in hue, and they're not as bright. And this was farther in the distance, but it was giant, and it was bright, and it wasn't moving, and it isn't there naturally. There isn't any lights that cause it. I've driven that road 100 times, and that was the first time I've seen it, and it's the only time I've never seen it since. So it wasn't something there, and it wasn't a plane because it was sitting still. But there's just this big bright light floating in the sky, and as I went around the little turn, I just watched it. And as I drove away from it, because it turned me around and I was going away, as I drove away from it, I watched it in my rear view, side view mirror until I couldn't see it anymore. And I was a little creeped out. I was honestly a little frightened, and I got home and I told my dad about it, but I was also kind of excited at the same time. And it was just an experience for me that kind of got my interest, but of course I thought it was a UFO. I can't really explain it any other way. So I kind of think that it's possible that it was some kind of alien ship or something like that, but I'm not going to swear to it. So I just think it was a really interesting experience that I got to have, and that was the first time I'd ever seen any kind of UFO that I would honestly think it was, if that's what it was. So, so that was my last question that I had for today. And I think I'll probably do another Q&A sometime in the future. But I've really had fun doing this, and I've talked for like half an hour. I've talked for half an hour, almost. Like, there's gonna be some blanks I cut out and stuff like that. But my video right now is running half an hour. So I want to thank everyone who asked me a question. I want to thank everyone who has subscribed to me and supported my channel. And I want to thank everyone who's watched this video. Because I'm absolutely excited about this. I'm excited about having 100 subscribers, and I can't wait till I get another 100. I'm already over a quarter of the way there, so that's awesome. I'm so optimistic, and I've just had so much fun with this channel. It's actually, in a couple of months, it'll be like my 1-year anniversary on my channel since I started posting regularly. It's already been a year because I posted my first video in like May, So it's been a year, but I don't necessarily count that as the upstart of my channel until I started doing my theory videos and I started actually getting in the channel. So I want to thank you guys for 100 and almost 30 subscribers and almost a year of you guys being awesome and my channel, and for me getting to do this awesome thing that I just absolutely have so much fun doing. But anyway, guys, I'm Midnight Siren, and I will see you guys next time.